we do have a choice, don't we, every day? Actually, probably every moment, to come from our higher angels or our lower. You know, we get to choose love or choose fear, that fearful place within us that's in every single one of us, or the place of love that is within every single one of us. So I'm going to start with a wisdom tale that you've heard probably plenty of times, but it's pretty powerful. And it's from the Cherokee Nation. And it's about a grandfather and his grandson. And the grandfather is telling his grandson about life. And he says that there's a fight going on inside of me, he says to the grandson. He said it's a terrible fight, and that fight is between two wolves. The wolf of fear, who's angry and sorrowful and regretful and arrogant, you know, filled with lies and false pride and ego. And he said, there's also the wolf of love within me. It's filled with joy and peace and hope and serenity and truth and compassion and faith. Then he said, that same fight that's going on in me is going on in you too. And it's going on in every single person in the world. So the grandson thought for a moment, and then he looked at his grandfather and he said, but grandfather, which wolf will win? And the old Cherokee simply replied, the one that you feed. And so the moral of the story is that the one that you feed love, then you get love back. Or the one that wins is fear, if you feed fear. So I was thinking about this, and as I was kind of looking through some different tales, I found another ending to that story. It's kind of interesting, because I've always heard it. Choose the, you know, which one you feed. So the ending says to me, and it kind of makes a lot of sense if we think about what we teach here at Common Ground, the answer is you feed them both. You feed them both. You feed them both and there will be no more eternal struggle for your attention, is what the Cherokee says. And when there is no battle inside, you can listen to the voice of deeper knowledge that will guide you in choosing what is right every circumstance. Peace, my son, is the Cherokee of all mission of Cherokee life. A man or woman who has peace inside has everything. A man or a woman who is pulled apart by the war inside of him has nothing. So choose both. What does that mean? Choose fear? What do we choose? How many times have you heard us say here that we have a struggle within us, we have fear, we have love, and that we have to acknowledge it all? That we can't just focus on, I want to be happy, I want to be filled with love. Because I can't tell you the times and the many years that I spent my life doing that. You know, pretending that everything was good and happy, and I want to choose love, I don't want to acknowledge the fear. I think what he's talking about here is we need to be able to acknowledge what's going on inside of us. Otherwise, he says that the other wolf is around and trying to get our attention. But when we acknowledge that that's there, we can then give our attention to the love. I like that ending. I like it better. See? What does this have to do with karma? See, karma is the action of life. The action is how the universe works. It's the battle of the wolves that we are given daily. Every single moment of our life, we have this battle going on between us. And fear is turning and hiding away and reacting unconsciously. And love, to me, this is what love, unconditional love, is conscious choice in our life. It's conscious choice, because the more that we do conscious choice, the more our heart is open to do the right thing. Love is choosing from that deepest place within each and every single one of us. And that's conscious choice to the best of our ability, depending on how skilled that we are. That's love. That's how much we can love. What is karma? What you sow, you shall reap. You probably have heard that. Cause and effect. What goes around comes around. If you think that you're waiting for someone to get their karma, you don't get it. Does that make sense? I think I saw something on Facebook that said something about karma is ha 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 on you. And I went, wow, that's so not karma. That's not what karma is about. Karma is about the laws of the universe and how we put out love, and love comes back. And when we put out fear, fear comes back to us. And it's created through every thought, every action, every word that we say. The universe is a giant mirror, a great big mirror, and what we put out bounces back to us. Karma is a Sanskrit word, and it means action. The word karma simply doesn't apply to good or bad, right or wrong, because that's what we usually think, right or wrong. It's not about that. It's not about the universe judging us. It's about putting something out and watching the energy circulate back to us. And boy, does that work. I've seen it happen in my life. The choices that we make and the actions that we take are the karma that we create. I think that's why the world is so goofed up right now. That's why I think right here in the United States that there's so much going on right at this particular moment. That is part of this unconscious thinking, thoughts that we're thinking. And it's up to each one of us then to do our part, right? To know that we're at cause for creating our reality. Not just our personal reality, but the collective reality for what's out there. We have to really, really look at that. It invites us to take responsibility for the choices that we make, right? Because many of us live in the effects of life, as life is cause and effect. And we get to choose our cause, then we have to take the effect. And I think that's maybe what we're going through right now. If we become victims to our effects, then we live in fear. In fear. We can't hide from what we put out there. We just can't hide that way. Life will give us whatever is the most helpful for our evolution of consciousness. We're here to grow, to transform, to love. And that's what life has given us right now in this moment. Whatever you're going through, whatever the world's going through, is needed right now for our transformation of consciousness. Eckhart Tolle says, how do we know this? How do we know that this is the experience we need? How do we know that? He said, because this is the experience you're having. This is the experience you're having in the moment. Change it. Change the cause. Change the cause. And one of the best ways to do it is to look at your life. Look at your relationships. To me, relationships really tell me where I am in my life, how skilled I am, how unskilled I am, however it looks in my life at the time. See, he says, and when I say he, I'm talking about Eckhart Tolle, I'm reading a little bit of him again, and he says that relationships are not here to just make you happy. So look at your life, look at the people in your life. They're not here just to make you happy, they're here to make you conscious. They're here to help you transform. So instead of seeing relationship as a place where you can feel good and get your needs met, what if that was there? What if our relationships were there to deepen and enrich our lives and to make us more conscious, better people? What if that was the case? Now, I'm not saying that you should look for dysfunction in people, just so you can overcome it and grow. You don't have to look for that in relationships. That's kind of important to acknowledge. If you need to get out of a relationship, you get out consciously. Instead of seeing the pain and the challenges of relationships and roadblocks and obstacles, let them become an opportunity to awaken your compassion and create a whole different kind of karma. Seen in this light, relationship frees us from the habitual need to see our partners, our family, and our friends a certain way, right? We have to see everybody our way. I was talking to something this morning, said, boy, it's like we want to see everybody our way. We want things to be the way we think it should be in order for us to be happy. This is a way to accept everybody on their own playing field. Who they are. Accept them for what they are. And then you create a field of love, of conscious choice. Remember, love isn't just this, huggy, happy, loving feeling. It's conscious choice. It's being able to make a choice at the highest level possible for you. That's how we create a beautiful world. That's how we create a beautiful world. Hugging and loving people, that's awesome and that helps. But when you make the choice to come from your highest nature, from your higher angels, then it makes all the difference in the world. So whenever your relationships, whenever the stuff in your life isn't working, you know, and it brings out the stuff in you and to the people that you live with, remember that that gives you the opportunity to step into something more powerful and bring it to the light. It's an opportunity to heal your life, and then a little bit, it heals the world. You know, as we become more skilled in feeding the wolves, right? We get the opportunity to choose the life and the karma that we're creating, right? So we feed both. So we look, what does that mean, feed both? So when we're seeing this, what's going on out in the world right now, do we just say, it's all love, it's all love, it's all love? No, we say, wow, this sucks, this hurts. But I choose to feel love. I choose to go there and to bring that attention to what I'm feeling too. So do you understand? You're feeling it all. Clearing yourself and then letting the divine move through you. It clears a space, is what he says. Karma is the way the universe operates. And how does it support us? Through four things. Through growth. Boy, karma gives us the opportunity to grow and transform. Right? It can be anything that we're going through, from a health crisis to divorce to relationship stuff. And each difficulty that we have gives us the opportunity to choose consciously. That's love. To choose consciously. Karma gives us the ability to be responsible, right? People may hurt us, they may lie to us, but the truth is that we have to look at ourselves and say, wow, am I being judgmental? Am I being picky? You need to accept responsibility. We all do. For our thoughts, our actions. Take the responsibility. And karma gives us the idea of change. Karma supports us to allow us and make change happen. Nothing's going to happen if we don't make that change, right? Are we going to be stuck in sadness and depression and what's going on in the world? Or are we going to make the change to do something? Whether it's prayer, whether it's, activism, what is it? See, we need to make the change. We need to make the change without interruption. Change has to be from inside first. Everything starts within us. Everything. You have to resolve to do something and take meaningful steps to make that decision work. And that requires action. And lastly, boy, karma teaches us that we gotta be present with life. We can't be worried about the past. In the future, we have to be present with what is. Loving the present moment is essential. Creating at a conscious level. Wow. When you create at a conscious level, you're creating your future. Every thought, every word, what you think, what you do, is creating your next step. That's why we gotta acknowledge it all. We gotta bring it to the light. So if you're thinking some pretty heavy thoughts, let them come. Let them heal. We need that because that's what helps us take our next step. Moving forward, right? Boy, if there's one thing I've learned, I think, about being human this lifetime is that none of us are perfect. I'm certainly not. And it's all just this journey. Sometimes great, sometimes not so great. But every day we wake up, every single morning we wake up, we have choices. We have choices in our life, right? From the moment we wake up to the time we close our eyes and we go to bed, we have choices. And the choices that we make and the actions that we take create our lives. They create our lives. What kind of karma are you creating for yourself? And what kind of karma are we creating for the world? My call to you is to choose, and choose consciously. For yourself and for our world. Thank you.